Morning students, today we can study about the thyroid gland. So thyroid gland is an endocrine gland which is seen in the lower part of the neck. It is seen in the front and side of the neck. So it's a butterfly shaped gland. So it's an endocrine gland. Endocrine gland means the glands which pour their secretion directly into the blood. So they don't have any duct. And they secrete hormones. So this is our thyroid gland seen in the lower part of the neck, and it extends from C5, C6, C7 and T1 vertebrae. It extends from the C5, C6, C7 and T1 vertebrae. And dimensions. So it has two lobes. It's an edge-shaped or butterfly-shaped gland, and it has two lobes, two lateral lobes, and two lobes are connected by a band. This is known as isthmus. So it has two lobes and an isthmus. Okay. And the dimensions and extent or weight dimension, each lobe has a length of about or height of about 5 centimeter and width of about 2.5 centimeter and thickness of about 2.5 centimeter. Yep. And it weighs about 25 grams. And the isthmus, the length is 1.2 centimeter and width also 1.2 centimeter. Yep. And this gland is larger in females than in males, and it enlarges in the puberty and during menstruation and pregnancy time in the females. So that is the dimension and weight of the thyroid gland. Then features of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland has two lobes, usually right and left lobes, lateral lobes. Then two lobes are connected by a band that is known as isthmus, and sometimes in some people there is an additional lobe can be seen above the isthmus. This is known as pyramidal lobe. And there will be a fibromuscular band which connects the pyramidal lobe with the hyoid bone. So that is known as levator glandulae thyroideae. Fibromuscular band which connects the thyroid gland with the hyoid bone. This is hyoid bone. So that band is known as levator glandulae thyroideae. Okay. And coming to the capsule of the thyroid gland. Capsule, there are two coverings for the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is covered by two capsules. There is a true capsule and a false capsule. Okay. True capsule is formed by the condensation of the fibrous stroma of the gland. Okay. The stroma of the gland itself thickened to form a capsule. So that is true capsule. And false capsule is formed by the pretracheal layer of deep cervical fascia. Deep cervical fascia is the deep fascia of the neck. Okay. So, false capsule is derived from the pretracheal part of the deep cervical fascia. Okay, these are the two capsules, and the peculiarity of this capsule is deep to the true capsule of the thyroid gland lies venous plexus. Here we can see the plexus of veins. So deep to the true capsule lies the venous plexus, veins. So this is the diagrammatic representation of thyroid gland with its capsule. Okay. So here we can see this is the false capsule and this is the true capsule. And here we can see deep to the true capsule lies the venous plexus, veins. So during thyroidectomy, that is removal of the thyroid gland, what we are doing, we will remove along with the true capsule in order to give there won't be any disturbance for the venous plexus. Okay. In order to avoid the injury to the venous plexus, we will remove the thyroid gland along with the true capsule. Okay. But it is entirely different in case of prostate gland. Here this is the section of prostate gland. Here we can see it is a false capsule, true capsule. So between the true capsule and false capsule lies the venous plexus. So while during the prostatectomy, we are removing only the glandular part of the prostate. Only this portion we are removing, retaining the true capsule in the body. So that's about the capsules, false capsule and true capsule of the thyroid gland. Okay. Then coming to the parts and relations of the thyroid gland. So the thyroid gland has two lobes, right lobe and left lobe, and connected by the isthmus. Okay. And each lobe has an apex. It is a pyramidal shaped structure. So it has an apex and a base. This is the basal part. Here comes the apex. And it has three surfaces. There is a lateral surface or superficial surface and medial surface, and there is a posterolateral surface. So this is the here comes the posterolateral surface. So this is the medial surface. This is posterior view. So this is the medial surface, posterolateral surface, and this is the superficial surface or lateral surface. So it has three surfaces and two borders. There is an anterior border, and there is a posterior border. So this is the posterior border. So this is the posterolateral surface, medial surface. Both are separated by the posterior border. This one. In apex, the apex is directed upwards and it is related to the superior thyroid vessels. This is superior thyroid artery and superior thyroid vein. Okay, and it is also related to the external laryngeal nerve. Here we can see this yellow color. So this is the external laryngeal nerve. So apex is related to superior thyroid vessels, artery and vein, and also the external laryngeal nerve. Okay. And base, this is the basal part. The base is related to inferior thyroid veins. And also it is related to this is the basal part. Here we can see it is related to inferior thyroid artery. This is inferior thyroid artery and also the recurrent laryngeal nerve. This is recurrent laryngeal nerve. Okay. So it is the base, and base lies at the level of 4th to 5th tracheal rings. So here we can see the trachea. This is the trachea, and we can see the tracheal cartilages. They are known as tracheal rings. Okay. So this base lies at the level of 4th to 5th tracheal ring. Then surfaces, lateral surface or superficial surface. This is the lateral surface or superficial surface, and it is related to the infrahyoid muscles. This is hyoid bone. So the muscles seen below the hyoid bone, they are known as infrahyoid muscles. So this is the lateral view of our neck. Here we can make out this is our thyroid gland, and this thyroid gland is covered by these infrahyoid muscles. These are the infrahyoid muscles. This is the sternohyoid. This one, sternohyoid muscle, sternothyroid muscle. Then this is our omohyoid muscle, omohyoid. So these muscles are related to the superficial or lateral surface. Then this is the medial surface. So this medial surface is related to two tubes. That is, it is related to two tubes, that is trachea and esophagus. So both are related to medial surface, trachea and esophagus, and it is related to two muscles. So this is the inferior constrictor. This is our pharynx. So this is the inferior constrictor muscle of pharynx. So it is related to the inferior constrictor muscle of pharynx and cricothyroid muscle. This is the cricothyroid muscle. So this medial surface is related to cricothyroid muscle and inferior constrictor muscle of the pharynx. Okay, these are the two muscles. It is related to two nerves, that is external laryngeal nerve. This is external laryngeal nerve and this is recurrent laryngeal nerve. So it is related to external laryngeal nerve and recurrent laryngeal nerve. So this is the medial surface. Okay. Then posterolateral surface. This is the posterolateral surface. Posterolateral surface is related to carotid sheath and its contents. That is carotid artery. This is common carotid artery. Then here comes the external carotid and internal carotid. And this is vagus and internal jugular vein. So all these are seen inside a sheath that is known as carotid sheath. Okay. So posterolateral surface is related to carotid sheath and its contents. Posterolateral surface. Then anterior border. So this is the anterior border. Anterior border is thin and it is related to anterior branches of the superior thyroid artery. this is superior thyroid artery. So here we can see the anterior branch of superior thyroid artery is related to the anterior border. Then posterior border, this is the posterior border. So posterior border, we can see the branches of inferior thyroid artery. Here we can see inferior thyroid artery is anastomosis with the posterior branch of the superior thyroid artery. So anastomosis between superior thyroid and inferior thyroid artery can be seen, and there is parathyroid glands. These are the parathyroid glands. Superior parathyroid and inferior parathyroid glands can be seen in the posterior border. So this is the isthmus. Then isthmus is a small band which connects the right and left lobes, and the isthmus has two borders, that is superior border and inferior border. It has two surfaces, anterior surface and posterior surface. Anterior surface is again covered by the infrahyoid muscles, sternothyroid and sternohyoid muscle. Then anterior jugular vein, it is related to anterior jugular vein. Then skin and fascia. Then the posterior surface is related to second to fourth tracheal rings. So just behind this surface we can see the trachea. So it is related to, this is the first tracheal ring. So it is related to second to fourth tracheal rings. Four tracheal rings. Then upper border, it is related to the anterior branches of the right and left superior thyroid arteries. Then inferior border is related to inferior thyroid veins. These are the inferior thyroid veins which leaves the gland. So these are the features and relations of the thyroid gland. Then arterial supply, blood supply of the gland. Arterial supply, it is supplied by the superior thyroid artery. Here we can see superior thyroid artery and inferior thyroid artery. Inferior thyroid artery. Venous drainage, again same. It is supplied by the superior thyroid vein. This is superior thyroid vein, middle thyroid vein and inferior thyroid veins. The lymphatic drainage, lymph from the upper part of the gland reaches the upper deep cervical lymph nodes. Then lower part drains into the lower deep cervical lymph nodes. Nerve supply, it is mainly derived from the middle cervical sympathetic ganglion. Okay, partly from the superior and inferior cervical ganglion, sympathetic. Now coming to the histology of the thyroid gland. So this is the section of the thyroid gland. Thyroid gland is covered by true capsule and false capsule, and septa arises from the capsule and divides the glands into small lobules. Okay. At each lobule we can see small rounded structures. They are known as follicles. So these follicles are lined by cuboidal epithelium, cuboidal cells. It is lined by cuboidal cells, and at the center of each follicle we can see colloids. Colloids can be seen. Acidophilic colloids can be seen, and these cells, follicular cells, will secrete T3, T4 hormones. Okay. And between the follicles we can see some group of cells. They are known as parafollicular cells. Sometimes parafollicular cells can be seen in relation with the follicles itself, and these parafollicular cells will secrete the calcitonin. So this is the histology of thyroid gland. Then applied anatomy. So this is the goiter, that is the swelling of the thyroid gland, that is goiter. Then the removal of the thyroid gland is known as thyroidectomy, and oversecretion of the thyroid gland, it is called hyperthyroidism. And sometimes we can see the tumors can be seen in the thyroid gland. So this, if there is any tumor, it can affect the surrounding structures also. It can compress the surrounding structures. And during thyroidectomy, so we will be retaining the we will remove the thyroid gland along with the true capsule in order to avoid the disturbance to the venous plexus, and we will ligate the artery. In superior thyroid artery, superior thyroid artery is ligated near to the gland in order to avoid injury to the external laryngeal nerve, and the inferior thyroid artery It is ligated away from the gland, because near to the gland it is related to the recurrent laryngeal nerve. So in order to avoid the injury to the recurrent laryngeal nerve, the artery is ligated away from the gland during thyroidectomy or removal of the gland. So that's all about the thyroid gland.